Welcome back, and today we're going to take a walk around the Firebug rigged up, and we'll just have a look at the rigging, all the lines we've got, the standing rigging, running rigging, and all the little bits and pieces. First, starting with the standing rigging, this is one of the stays. The stay wire comes down. We put some rubberized tape around the edge of the stay to stop yourself getting caught on. We then have a lashing here. This lashing can come straight down onto this pad eye. What we are doing is we're lashing into the saddle. The reason we've done that is that once we've set the lashing up once, we can just remove this by undoing the saddle. That way we always know that the mast is going to be put up pretty much the same way each and every time. The lashing is just permanently tied to the through the thimble here with a bowline, and then comes down through the saddle. Goes around about 3 times, comes back. It's finished off with a series of half hitches, and we just tuck the end of the last half hitch back through to make sure it doesn't come loose. Let's have a look at the painter here. I've got a piece of ski rope, yellow in colour. The reason why I've chosen ski rope is because it floats on top of the water. When you're looking for a tow, the last thing you want is your painter to be sinking into the water so the rescue boat can't get hold of it. That's why I've chosen this. This just has a simple splice. This rope's pretty easy to splice. It comes back through itself, comes out, tied a knot, and then tuck the end back in. I actually put this under the mast so that if you're being towed, then all that pressure pulling forward is actually sitting on that pin which is going into the air. I feel that's probably the strongest place to tow from. I then actually run that forward through my bow handle here. It's a bit hard to see. And then we run it round the boat through the pad eye on the side there for the stays, through our saddles on the back corner where the bridle attach, back down to the starboard stay there, pad eye, then back to the handle, and then I've just got that tied off with a couple of half hitches. This forms for you a grab line around the boat, so that if you're outside the boat it's pretty easy to hold on. If you're upside down, it can give you a bit of a footing to get up onto the boat, to reach the centre board, to pull the boat back over. This has to be easy enough to undo at the bow so that you can easily then feed it back out. So if you're in a towing situation, you would still leave it sitting on here. It would come through the handle at the front and then off to the rescue boat. Come around to the stern now. So I have the bridle attached to one of these saddles on the transom here. So the bridle comes up over the top of the tiller and back down to the other side. Getting the length of this bridle right is one of the key things you want to do, mainly so that you're positioning this block right, and I'll go into that a little bit later. You can see our lifeline comes around and comes under the tiller in front of the rudder. What I have got is I have a small pin down here. The pin is on a bungee which attaches back up to the top pintle here. The reason we've done this is we've found that these pins, or just about any pin, we had problems with jamming in between the rudder here and the transom, and so this way the bungee just holds that pin upright all the time and ensures that it's just not going to get trapped between the two. Let's take a look to see how the sail's bent on. Up at the masthead here you can see there's a little white ball. On the end of my halyard, rather than tying a bowline to tie my main sheet on, I poke a little loop in the halyard through the headboard, and then take the ball, which is the stopper ball, which is on the end of the halyard, over the top and through that loop. It's very easy to do, very easy to undo, and we pull our sail right up to the top of our mast. Here we are at the tack. Now down at the tack here you'll see 2 lines. The way that I've done it here is that the purple line is my normal line with a downhaul, and it has a green stopper ball on the end. That runs through the cleat here at the front of the boom. It comes along, comes through the saddle, up through the tack, and back and ties down to the saddle. That gives me a 2-to-1 purchase here on the downhaul. What we're trying here is, rather than having things tied directly to the saddle and having to thread them through each time, we've actually got a small twist shackle here, and that way we can just do and undo the twist shackle to get this off. Now, my red ball and red line is my reefing line, so that runs back up through the shackle, goes all the way up through my reefing tack point and back down again, and ties on with a bow line onto the shackle. If you didn't have the shackle, you'd be doing that through and attaching to the saddle. Let's have a look at the cleat at the outward end of the boom. Again, we have our green ball on purple line. That line runs up, goes through our V cleat, comes down here along the boom, and it goes through our shackle. You could run it straight through the saddle if you didn't have the shackle. Then comes up through the kringle here at the clue, comes down and ties back on to here to this shackle with a bow line. That again gives me a 2-to-1 purchase on the out haul and allows us to adjust the shape along the foot here. We also have this small line coming down, and it's just tied with a reef knot underneath. That just keeps the clue down close to the boom. You don't want it too tight so it's not going to move, and you're just trying to keep it reasonably close there. Now, our reefing line, again, very similar. Red ball on the end, so I know it's the reefing line. Comes up, goes through my shackle, comes up through the reefing kringle. However, this time it comes down and ties around my boom with a bow line. You can see it's actually sitting over and around my outhaul. It's done this way so that when you pull the reef on, it not only pulls the reefing point down and out to this here, but also pulls it down to the boom. So it effectively is doing both of these actions on the normal one.